Merry Christmas! Hey, it's not Christmas, but feels like it right now. So I hope you guys are doing well. Your families are doing well. Pastor Heath here. Just a little AWANA message from 9 Mile Falls Community Church. Want to let you guys know a couple things coming up that you guys can be working on your books at home. Doing a good job on that. We'll be doing awards. Make sure you email Miss Kim, letting them know that sections that you've gotten done. If you're working on those books or need those books, we can get those mailed to you guys. Just let us know. We can also do some pickups at the church. We could also bury them, and you could we'd give you a treasure map. So if that sounds good too. But hey, just wanted to encourage you guys this week. You know, some odd stuff. Feeling a little quarantine, a little isolated, and having trouble not seeing your friends, not seeing people that you like to get out. Maybe you're feeling pretty lonely. Maybe you're feeling like, Lord, where are you? Am I the only person out here? There was someone else that had the same thing. His name was, his name was, if I can get it here, a man named Elijah, who probably looked just like this. Something like that. So I want to encourage you guys this week. The message comes out of 1 Kings 19. And what it is it was during a time where Israel was being run by some pretty nasty king. Not a great guy. King Ahab. And his wife was even meaner than him. Her name was Jezebel. And they didn't really care for God. They didn't like the prophets of God, and they were taking out prophets right and left. Well, Elijah, God had been raising up. And in verse 18, or chapter 18 of 1 Kings, we hear 1 Kings 18, we hear the story how Elijah had a contest on Mount Carmel, which sounds delicious. It wasn't made of caramel. And it was against these guys named the prophets of Baal. And the prophets of Baal had said, okay, our God will burn this thing down. And they did all these crazy stuff to try and burn this altar down. And it didn't happen, right? So then Elijah steps up and he's like, you know what? I serve a good God. Check this out. He takes this altar and then he says, pour some water on it, get it real soaking wet and do all this stuff. And then I'm going to have God bring down fire and totally destroy it. And guess what happened? God did that. Burned the whole thing up, right? And everyone's like, wow, God, your God's amazing, you know. And then Elijah kind of rallies the troops and gets everyone. And King Ahab's like, oh, man, your God, what's happening? So what does Ahab do? In verse 19, or chapter 19, he goes back to Jezebel and tells his wife what Elijah had done. And Jezebel is not super happy. She's not. So she actually sends a message to Elijah and says, Elijah, we're gonna take you out, brother. We're gonna kill you and find you. Well, Elijah had just done all this cool stuff, but he is super scared. And he runs and he goes and takes off and he hides himself in a cave. Then he lay down and slept under the broom tree, it says. But as he was sleeping, an angel touched him and told him to get up and eat. He's in the wilderness, and he's really scared. He says, God, I've had enough. I can't do this anymore. There's no one out there. You're not helping me. I'm by myself, right? God says, hey, Elijah, get up. I'm going to take care of you. And he looked around next to him, next to his head where he was sleeping, and there's some baked bread there on hot stones and a jar of water. That's pretty nice. It's like car side to go. It was the first Uber Eats right there in the Bible. No, but so what happens is he says, get up and eat some. The angel's telling this, and the journey ahead's going to be long. So Elijah eats the food and he drinks. He's kind of calming down. He travels for 40 days and 40 nights to Mount Sinai, and there he came to a cave and he spends the night. And God speaks to Elijah, and this he says, what are you doing, Elijah? And Elijah, remember, is going, Lord, I've served you, and everyone's being wiped out, and I'm by myself, and I'm the only one left, and everyone's trying to kill me, right? But God says, go stand before me at the mountain. And God stands there, and a huge windstorm blows by him. Terrible blast. And then an earthquake. But God says, I'm not in the earthquake. I'm not in the storm. And then there was a fire, right? And God says, I'm not in the fire. And then there was a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he wrapped his face in his cloak, and he went out and stood. And a voice says, what are you doing here? And he says, I've served you. I've done all this, Lord, and you're still not around, right? And he's done all these things. And then God says, go back the same way. I'm taking care of you. And he says, I will preserve you. And he tells Elijah there, he says, Elijah, there are 7,000 other people that don't worship Baal, that worship me, that are out there. You are not alone. And I love that message that God gives to Elijah. Here Elijah had done great things, had done these great things, but then he was scared, and he didn't know what to do. And God came to him in a gentle breeze and said, hey, Elijah, I'm taking care of you. And in fact, I'm taking care of tons of other people out there as well. So I want you guys to know this week that God is taking care of you guys. You may feel like you're all by yourself and you're all alone, and you have nobody, but God is taking care of you. And I want you to remember that. I'm going to close in some prayer. Father God, we thank you that you take care of us, that you're watching over us, God. Continue to watch over us this week and help us to honor you. Amen. Okay, last thing, family challenge this week. I want you guys to take pictures of you and your family playing some crazy games, board games, card games, pool games. Might be a little chilly for that, but send them back to me. I'll maybe be able to share some of those things that your families are doing to have some fun together. Okay, love you guys. Praying for you. Keep us posted if you need anything. Merry Christmas.